Radio Europe Transmission Radio.
Station van de toekomst.
Türkiye'nin Sesi Radyosu dinliyorsunuz.
Be sure to subscribe to our podcast. We'd also love to hear from you. Just send an email to pcusa@voanews.com or connect with us on Facebook at facebook.com/CarolCastielVOA or on Twitter at CarolCastielVOA. That's Press Conference USA every Saturday and Sunday on the Voice of America.
The Voice of America's global news program, International Edition, brings you an in-depth look at the biggest news stories of the day. Nobody covers the world more comprehensively than VOA. Our correspondents gather the news and the views of the most seasoned experts on international issues. Tune in Monday through Friday at 3:30 and 17:05 UTC on the Voice of America.
This is the Voice of Turkey's English language transmission, broadcasting from Ankara in the 49 meter band between 1830 and 1930 UTC on 5945 kHz to Europe. Before we begin, let's have a quick look at the headlines. Turkey, U.S. should boost trade, economic cooperation for full potential, says Turkish President.
Questions about the inventory program?
No, I don't think so.
You'll notice that I've linked it directly to the other antique networks on the internet.
Oh, this is amazing, Eugene. I may be able to sell everything before I leave.
If it will delay your departure, then I will remove the program.
Oh, you're sweet.
Well, likewise, I'm sure. Shall we input an item?
Sure.
Then please sit down.
Thanks for listening to Wavescan, the international VX program from Adventist World Radio. The reception reports for the program. CWR address in Bangkok, Thailand.
I want to buy or purchase or I want to order a radio, you will not get the radio. Your money will be returned. When you send any money to this ministry, it should not be for a book, a radio, or anything. It should be an offering. If you send an offering of just $80 or more, $80 or more, and you desire to have one of these radios for yourself or to give to a friend so that you can listen to the Overcomer, you just send your $80 or more, request the Shortwave Radio, and address your letter, the Overcomer. The Overcomer. Box 691. Walterboro. WALTER. B-O-R-O, Walterboro, South Carolina, and the zip code is 294.
Evet, spor dünyasında neler oluyor? Şimdi de onu konuşacağız sevgili dinleyicilerimiz. Telefon hattımızda konuğumuz spor yorumcusu Lütfi Özer. Hoş geldiniz, günaydın.
Günaydın, teşekkür ederim. İyi çalışmalar dilerim.
Çok teşekkür ediyoruz, sağ olunuz. Şimdi gazetelere
And in our tech news, we have from The Verge. Lithuania's Defense Ministry has warned that consumers should throw away their Chinese phones and avoid buying new ones. A report by its National Cybersecurity Center tested 5G mobiles from Chinese manufacturers. Researchers identified that one Xiaomi phone had built-in censorship tools, while another Huawei model could be vulnerable to cyber attacks. However, Huawei said no user data is sent externally. And moving on to sports news. From ESPN Sports. And finally, for the weather update, Kuwait. During the day, it is expected to be hot and relatively humid, especially over coastal areas, with light variable winds to light to moderate southeasterly winds and speeds of 6 to 26 kilometers per hour. The maximum expected temperature for the day is set at 42 degrees Celsius, with the minimum down at 25. Well, folks, those are your press stories for this morning. And your hosts, Mohammed Al-Jasmi, and our news team for this morning are Editor Ahmed Al-Ali, Executive Director Yusuf Ali, and Director Khalid Al-Hanezi. We'd like to thank you for tuning in on 963 kilohertz on the medium wave, or 93.3 megahertz on the FM band. This program is brought to you by Radio Kuwait, the English News Department, and we all hope you have a wonderful day.
Dear children, please wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. When playing with toys or other children, avoid touching your face, nose, mouth, and eyes. Stay away from stray animals as they might be sick or carriers of viruses. Make sure you cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze with a tissue or a flexed elbow and wash your hands immediately.
This is the Voice of Turkey's English language transmission, broadcasting from Ankara in the 49 meter band between 1830 and 1930 UTC.
So first, the news. U.S. President Joe Biden's approval rating is now lower than his disapproval rating at first in his 8-month presidency, according to a new Gallup poll.
From Germany on 75 and 49 meters, this is Shortwave Radio.
Hi, and welcome to Southgate Amateur Radio News. We're on issues so much.
Overcommer with it.
With the ship safety anchored, she continues to broadcast. MiAmigo during the daytime and Casanova at night.
Vannacht misdag en hierna van ongeveer 11 graden. De nachttemperatuur is een beetje rond 18 graden.
جهانیان بر آن جهانیان و تاختن بردن تا سینور زر و نسل که سرحد غیب است و غفلت ایشان از کمی که چون غازی به غذا نرود کافر تاختن آورد.
București, Radio Romania International, vi pratite program na srpskom jeziku. Radio Romania International emituje programe na srpskom jeziku svakoga dana u 17 časova i 30 minuta, 19:30 i 21:30 po srednje evropskom vremenu na 5910 kHz. Sve tri emisije uživo ili reemitovane možete slušati preko interneta na adresi www.rri.ru gdje se nalazi naša cela medijska produkcija, kao i na Facebooku na stranici Srpska redakcija Radio Romania International. Informativni blok, vi slušate vesti. Broj slučajeva zaraženih COVID-om u Rumuniji dalje.
Good morning, Europe.
You are listening to the big one from Holland.
This is Radio Delta.
This is Radio Delta. Tämä on Radio Delta Alankomaista, Dari Lehtinen. Terveisiä kaikille suomalaisille DX-kuuntelijoille ja oikein hyvää iltaa Radio Deltan ohjelman parissa.
This is the test of the emergency broadcast system. Power on Shortwave. Message 82. This is Delta Radio.
Shortwave services from the Netherlands.
This is Radio Delta.
Welcome to Radio MiAmigo, bringing back the golden era of offshore AM radio. MiAmigo AM en via internet met een nieuw uur. Echte vrije radio. Ladies and gentlemen, another hour of solid gold.
Corribande.
Benvenuti ad un nuovo appuntamento con Corribande, siete sintonizzati su Shortwave Gold, le frequenze 3975 oppure 6160 kHz, le bande sono quelle di 75 oppure 49 metri, ovviamente delle onde corte. Intanto vi auguro una buona ricezione, vi invito a scriverci coribande@shortwaveradio.de, la nostra email, e come sempre da Saverio Masetti buon ascolto.
This is Shortwave Gold.
Va ora in onda Bande Rumorose, programma di notizie, curiosità, tecnica e fatti radio per chi ascolta il mondo e le sue voci.
Radio Casanova at hotmail.com. Hier ist Radio Casanova. Radio Casanova at hotmail.com.
listening to the lovely sound of Radio Casanova on 6120.
Kickstart My Heart on RSI, now on 6095 in a 49 meters band. Yeah, 49 meters band. This is Scotland Radio. No. This one is especially for the users of 6095 in Nowen.
Thank you all for listening. Till the next time, tune in to Radio Dutch on Radio Piracy from the Netherlands, North of here.
If all the kings had their queens on the throne, we will pop champagne and raise our tone.
Radio Slovakia International. La Slovaquie en direct.
Soyez les bienvenus à l'écoute du blog d'actualité préféré et présenté selon
And news continues on the English language broadcast of the Voice of Turkey.
For free, if you want. Send me your 3 favorite records. Then we choose one and put the song in the next Goodman show. Send your copy to radio.goodman@hotmail.com. I repeat, radio.goodman@hotmail.com. You hear your music only by Radio Goodman.
I keep a close watch on the part of mine.
While you're visiting our website, be sure to subscribe to our podcast. We'd also love to hear from you. Just send an email to pcusa@voanews.com or connect with us on Facebook at facebook.com/CarolCastielVOA or on Twitter at CarolCastielVOA. That's Press Conference USA every Saturday and Sunday on the Voice of America.
This is the Voice of Turkey's English language transmission, broadcasting from Ankara in the 49 meter band between 1830 and 1930 UTC.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. This is Ibrahim Sarıkaya from Voice of Turkey. Today, 22nd of September 2021, you are listening to the news. Turkish President world can't let Syrian crisis last 10 more years.
This is Shannon, Volmet. Forecast. Keflavik forecast. Keflavik valid from the 30th at 1800 until the 1st at 1800. Wind 030 degrees 16 knots. Cabo Cay. Forecast maximum temperature 8 on the 1st at 1500 Zulu. Forecast minimum temperature 5 on the 30th at 2100 Zulu. Tempo from 1800 until 0000. Wind 020 degrees 20 knots. Gusting 30 knots. Becoming between 0000 and 0200. Wind 010 degrees, 25 knots. Gusting 35 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Light rain. Cloud. Ceiling broken at 4,000 feet. Becoming between 1200 and 1400. Wind 020 degrees, 15 knots. Met report. London Heathrow, Met report.
I'm going to play this as long as it makes sense. I'll play like a minute. I probably won't play all of it. But these are deaths as reported in the news.
His story is different than nearly every other one we've heard because he died, even though he was vaccinated.
Now confirmed, a vaccinated patient has died from COVID complications at Thomas Hospital.
Patricio Elizondo died after succumbing to lung complications from COVID-19. Elizondo's diagnosis after a chest X-ray was unexpected. He was fully vaccinated.
Mourning the loss of his wife after she died from COVID-19. He says the Henry County teacher was fully vaccinated.
Devastated after their loved one lost COVID, even though she was fully vaccinated.
Has died from the virus in spite of having got this shot. And 27 of fully vaccinated people have also died from COVID-19. This
in the North Bay who was fully vaccinated, got COVID, and then died.
Her friends say she was a talented painter, singer, and businesswoman. She lost her own father, even though he was fully vaccinated. It's so sad.
Napa County Public Health Officer Dr. Karen Mauricio, COVID-19 victim, was fully vaccinated.
On the case of a man who died after getting vaccinated.
Dispatch records say a 68-year-old woman had an allergic reaction at a public health vaccination office at St. John's School in Ozaki. Evans obituary says she died Wednesday from a reaction to the COVID vaccine. Dallas County officials.
And so, just trust the experts, right? Right? Seems to be a little suspect. 1/3 are unvaccinated, so the BBC in the UK. 1/3 of positive COVID cases in Wales are unvaccinated. What about the other 2/3? Are the 2/3 vaccinated? 1/3 is less than 2/3. Just to make sure you're on board with that math.
And never forget, they are now considering people who've had an injection to not be quote-unquote vaccinated until 2 weeks after their shot. So even though they get a shot, if they get sick or die within the first 2 weeks, they're listed as an unvaccinated injury or death. How about that, right? Does any of this make sense to anybody? Now, in the first quarter of today's show, the issue of placebos was raised, and I mentioned a fellow by the name of John O'Looney who has been making waves, not just about that topic, but about his own first-hand observations as a UK undertaker in the midst of what's supposed to be a pandemic. There are a number of sources I could have chosen from which to feature our upcoming audio bite on this side of the bumper, but I chose the first...